The Yanxiang National Alpine Skiing Centre, the venue for the Beijing 2022 Paralympic Winter Games Para-Alpine schedule. And on day 3, it is the Super Combined. Originally, this race was scheduled for day 4 of these Paralympic Winter Games, but the race jury deciding to move it forward by 24 hours because of the weather, and not because of the wind, but because of the heat. But we have 6 races for you today in the Super Combined, 3 in the women, 3 in the men. As usual, vision impaired, standing and then sitting. The weather is really very warm indeed, expecting temperatures in excess of 5 degrees centigrade today, and hence the decision to move it forward a day, because on day 4 temperatures are due to be even higher, and in a bid to make it as fair as possible for all the athletes, it was moved forward to allow the athletes to race. Now, the name of the game in Super Combined, it is a 1 run of Super G and 1 run of slalom later on this afternoon. And at the moment, as you can see, the air temperature is above freezing, ever so slightly. And it's a combined time, the Super G time and the slalom time added together will tell us who our Paralympic medalists are for Beijing 2022. Paralpine skiing at Beijing 2022, the women's Super Combined vision impaired. The first of 6 races in the Super G leg of this Super Combined. And we're expecting a really keenly contested race in all settings today. Here is the start list for the women's vision impaired. The defending Paralympic champion is Henrietta Farsakova. She goes at bib number 6. The reigning world champion is Millie Knight from Great Britain. She goes with bib number 3. And it's going to be an action-packed day here on the Haituo Mountain.
A lot of talent stacked up in that start list, as we see medalists galore in there. A few new names as well. We've seen a lot of surprises so far in these Winter Paralympic Games, but it's going to be a long day of action. First leg of Super G will be about to get underway in a moment or two, but later this afternoon, when the temperatures are forecast, as we say, to get very high indeed, it will be a bit of a war of attrition, I fear, and a very tough slalom leg ahead for the guys and the girls here. Coaches and athletes watching and waiting anxiously as we begin to get things ready to get underway here. Super Combined, and we'll see the Belgian pairing getting us going with bib number 1. Same course as we've been racing on day 2 to decide the Super G in its own right. But as we've said, it's a game of 2 halves, if you like. High-speed turns, rollers and some jumps of Super G, combined with the technical precision and skill of slalom skiing. The ultimate test to decide who is the best all-rounder at these Para-Alpine Games.
Linda Le Bon's name comes up on the scoreboard because she is the first athlete out of the hut. The 1 goes across the gate, and we're almost ready for action on day 3 of these Paralympic Winter Games. Linda Le Bon of Belgium and her guide Ulla Gillot get this women's Super Combined vision impaired race underway. And Le Bon, 57 years of age, was a silver medalist in downhill and Super G at the World Championships earlier this year. And a chance to have a look at the slope and the snow conditions.
Snow conditions so far are pretty decent. The warm temperature hasn't done much damage to the snowpack yet. And the course set is very similar, almost identical, I would suggest, to yesterday's Super G in its own right. So no great problems in terms of navigation or the tactical approach for these ladies. They really just have to get on with the job of battling against the mountains. Into high toy bowl come the Belgians. Wide line there by the guide, a lot of drift going on, allowing our athlete time to stay in contact with her behind. We can perhaps afford to let the turns run out and try to pick up speed now. There to go, straight lining it through this little section. And then this all-important long sweeping left-hand curve out into the canyon and the long flats where gliding skills are required to let the skis wash over the snow and bring the athletes as quickly as possible down towards the final pitch and into the finish area.
So here comes Linda Le Bon. Over the finish jump, and she will stop the clock at 1:26.36. The time for everyone to try and better. Put down in one piece, good skiing. Bib number 2 is Eva Nico of Greece and her guide Dimitrios Pofentas. Nico just 21 years of age in her first Paralympic Winter Games. Carried the flag at the opening ceremony. She comes up now to the first of the 2 time splits on today's Super G, just at the top of the entrance into the hydro bowl, and she's put 8 for the right side of the clock.
Yeah, we can't say the start intervals are such that we have to drop a little of our live coverage, but watching again the Greek pairing, they didn't race in the Super G itself, but they've been watching very closely, I know, as the proceedings have been going on over the last 24 hours through day 2. And that's not a bad execution at all from Nico.
Gets around in time for that red gate, and she increases her advantage by 2/10 to 1.04 seconds. A good run from the athlete from Greece.
Little sideways on 1 or 2 of these turns on the flats. Those small errors could be quite costly.
1:26.36 for Nico as she tucks for the line, and it does cost her. It costs her over a second in the canyon section, but second, a 10th off the place. Bib number 3 is the reigning world champion in super combined, Millie Knight of Great Britain, and her guide, Brett Wild. Knight, well, can she add this Paralympic Winter title to that World Championship title?
Disappearing brimful of confidence after a very solid start on days 1 and 2. Brett giving strong guidance here. A good green light there, 2.96 into the high toy bowl, and very clean turns from the British pairing. A little sideways there by Millie, but now she finds the fall line, lets the skis run, and picking up good momentum as she comes to the end of the steeper section. Sweeps out over the blue line, loads up the right ski, goes in a little bit straight, has to hang on towards the end, but it's still looking very good.
3.32 now, the right side of the clock for Knight. And this is a good marker, trying to build as much of a cushion as she can with the defending Paralympic champion still to come. And home by 4.87. Good run from Millie Knight.
Yeah, very solid stuff from the British pair. Millie going really well there. Here's the slow-mo showing very clean turns. A little drift there, but sets the next turn up with a lot of precision and a very clean track. You could see that pencil mark cut into the snow in our slow-mo pictures there.
Bib number 4. Mena Fitzpatrick from Great Britain, a silver medalist in this event at Pyeongchang in 2018, a silver medalist in this event at the World Championships in 2022, and 0.31 off the pace at the first intermediate, and that has now grown to 1.16 behind her compatriot and current leader, Millie Knight.
Slightly rounder line from Fitzpatrick and Smith. They're very close together here, so they could possibly take a little risk and try to do something about that deficit. Grab the tuck, the pair of them, and in, Fitzpatrick again very tight here in the tuck early, And this is a fast exit from the high toy bowl section.
Yeah, she's found a lot of time. She was 1.16 off the pace at the top, now 0.57 off the pace. And Fitzpatrick will want to try and be as close as possible tonight. And if she can, sneak in front of her over the final jump, 1:21.49, the time of night. And Fitzpatrick is outside by 3/4 of a second.
Yeah, a couple of small errors along the flats sort of spoilt the momentum that she gained in the high toy bowl.
Martina Vozza of Italy and her coach Yelenia Sabidusi are off and running now. Vozza was third in the slalom at the World Championships in 2022, so she'll want to try and be as close as possible on this speed leg to give herself some chance in the slalom leg. And the 17-year-old not going too bad, 1/4 of a second off the pace at the first intermediate. She finds herself now 2.91 off the pace.
Good solid entry to the high toy bowl. Ski's drifting a little sideways here. Really brave effort by the Italians, grabbing the tuck there in the technical parts of this, the high toy bowl. These are the turniest or the widest set gates on the whole course, so really it's important that you make certain of the technical execution and ski them clean.
She's found a little bit of time in the bowl. She's found, what, 11 hundredths of a second.
Yeah, cutting a very short line, but a little bit too far behind the guides, lost her way ever so slightly and clatters heavily into that red gate. Looks to be okay though. Remember, the guide and the athlete, they have a Bluetooth headset going there, so they're speaking to each other as Vozza picks herself up.
Well, that's real disappointment for the Italian, and you can see the body language of the guide. Just got her line a little wrong and skied through the gate. The athletes have to pass between the two panels.
Yeah, it's if you imagine a line on the snow between the bases of the pairs of poles, the pairs of red and pairs of blues. Both tips of both skis, both feet have to pass across that imaginary line cleanly. And unfortunately for Vozza, she just had a little wobble. She sort of lost her edge ever so slightly before that red gate and ended up clattering into it. So out of this competition. No second leg for her, so we won't see her this afternoon in the slalom half of this competition.
Huge disappointment for this 17-year-old. And she registers a DNF, and slalom potentially her stronger leg, but she won't get the chance to run it. Henrietta Farkasova of Slovakia and her guide Michael Červan. She's the defending Paralympic champion. And she's across the line 2.92 quicker than Millie Knight, so goes into the lead for the time being. Good ski from Farkasova.
Very strong performance from the Slovakians, making amends for less than ideal outing yesterday, but looks content with their run.
Bib number 7 is Alexandra Rexova of Slovakia and her guide Eva Trajkova. And Rexova, 16 years of age in her first major event. And she's been skiing really nicely. What can she do on Super Combined Day? And away they go with Trajkova leading the way, and good connection straight out the gate between the pair.
Yeah,
so
you can see straight away the confidence that has grown here over the opening days for this youngster.
0.26 off the pace. The current leader is her compatriot Henrietta Farkasova, the 10-time Paralympic champion. So she's keeping good company here, Rexova.
Yeah, Trajkova the guide has to be a little careful she doesn't get too excited, too overconfident, get too far away from her young athlete behind her. But I think she realised that coming off the end of circle, and they've made the connection a bit tighter.
1.09 off the pace. This is good from Rexova coming through the ball.
Got to keep the skis working here from the left across to the right of our screens. Really nice turns here from this young lady. Rexova showing maturity beyond her years. Brimful of confidence.
And she's found some time through the high tow ball. Now can she try and keep that pace going through this canyon section? 1:18.57 is the time of our leader, Farkasova. And Rexova over the final jump, and she'll stop the clock. 1:20.01, 1.44. Slovakia go first and second.
Great skiing through the high toy though from Rexova. Yeah, a very strong performance.
Bib 8, Zhu Da-King from the People's Republic of China, and her guide Yan Han Han. And Zhu, she was a successful athlete in the Paralympic Summer Games, winning a bronze medal in the T12 200 meters in London back in 2012. Now a successful athlete in her own right in Alpine skiing. She's got a green light by 0.87.
Yeah, that athletic prowess transferring very well onto the long Super G skis. You can see she's standing very strongly. This is a powerful section through the high toy bowl. This pair are flying.
And the green light now 2.61. This is a fantastic ski from Zhu.
Different set of skills required here across the flats. She needs to get the shoulders down low or she will bleed that advantage away. She must find the tuck position if she's to hang on to that lead.
1:18.57 is Farkasova's time, and Zhu is inside by 1.92. She lost a bit of time through the canyon, but not enough to lose the lead. Excellent skiing.
Yeah, she put more than enough in the bank up there, particularly in the high top. In fact, the whole run, top to bottom, really strong, very athletic skiing.
Noemi Eva Risto of Germany and her guide, Paula Elia Brenzel, out of the gate. And Risto, 30 years of age, 0.35 off the pace at the first time split, and as she comes over the run jump, we'll get the second time split.
It's a strong midsection from the German pair.
2.33 off the pace as she enters the ball just under 75 kilometers an hour.
Good speed across the snow. These times are a little bit scrappy. Just almost going down. Needs to just try to be a little bit more patient. Allow the carve to develop under her foot. Drive the ski all the way around rather than letting it break sideways.
Well, the mistake has cost her a large amount of time. Over 2.5 seconds gone through the high tow ball, and then just getting a little out of shape through the canyon, but gets back to make the red control gate.
Yeah, another wild drive by Rista and Brenzel. They look to be almost safely in the finish area here, though.
Over the final pitch. Oh, no, no. She's tried to find some speed and try to go outside her guide, but ended up straddling that blue gate on the finishing pitch, and she is out of the running. Well, the women's super combined first leg for vision impaired is done, and of the 9 athletes that started, 7 have made it to the bottom. Risto and Votsa missing gates in the canyon and on the finishing pitch, but it's Zhu Da-King of the People's Republic of China, who leads the way. Confirmation then of the standings at the midpoint of the women's super combined vision impaired race. Xu King from the People's Republic of China leads from the defending champion Farkasova of Slovakia, with Rexova in fourth and the world champion Knight in fourth. So Rexova in third, Knight in fourth. I'll pause in proceedings. The women's super combined standing start list for the Super G leg of this super combined. And Molly Jepson, the defending Paralympic champion, she goes at bib number 22. Marie Bochet of France, the reigning world champion, goes at bib number 10. But it's a fascinating race, this one. 14 competitors from 8 national Paralympic committees, but the first 4 out of the start hut medalists at either the last edition of the Paralympic Winter Games or the last World Championships. Marie Bochet with bib number 10, the 2022 world champion, a 8-time Paralympic gold medalist. This was the title she won in Sochi in 2014, but didn't manage to win it in 2018, and is off to a really decent start, but she's a really strong skier.
Yeah, she has to open this one up confidently, and Marie Bochet, one of the most experienced and most successful skiers in the field, skiing this, well, I don't want to say it's a demonstration run, but there's not much she can fault here. A little chatter from the skis as she comes into the high toy bowl, but I think that's more a reflection of the speed that she was carrying as she came across the brow of the hill here. Still going very quickly, working from foot to foot. Perhaps could have gone a little straighter there, but sets up well and carries good momentum here through the long sweeping right-hander and out onto the canyon flats. Gliding skills are required at a premium, remember, on this section. The skiers must carry the momentum as best they can now, all the way to this next little terrain break.
Bochet will cross the line in 1:17.34. That is the time that everyone will look to better. Winning time in the Super G, 1:13.54. Bib number 11 is Anna Maria Reider of Germany, the bronze medalist in this event at the World Championships in Lillehammer in January of this year. 0.23 the right side of the clock at the first split, but now over a second and a half the wrong side of the clock coming into the bowl.
Young German skier not looking quite as confident as she has the past couple of days. Perhaps fatigue setting in. Many of the European nations haven't been able to travel to China a long time before the competition start because of obviously the various travel restrictions, so acclimatization has been difficult for many of the teams here. Uyghur tucks in, tries to get the most out of her legs, get as low as possible across this lower section. No, she's not giving this run up without a fight.
Deficit doubled through the bowl to 3.66. Has to come back for that blue gate, which she does. 1:21.49, 4.15 off the pace of Bochet, our leader. And there, Rothfuss of Germany with bib number 12, a silver medalist in the Super Combined, at Pyeongchang 2018, and 1.81 off the pace coming into the high toy bowl.
Lovely turns from Rothfuss here. A little wide on a couple of the gates, but carrying very high velocity, I would say. Gets pushed wide as a result. Nicks back inside that red gate, and now a bit more of a turn to make on the blue than she would have liked. And it's going to be difficult now for her to carry that important momentum across these flats. But you can see she's trying everything she can. Look how low she's got her body slung down over her knees.
Oh, real speed, but she's missed the gate. She was going too quickly. Rothfuss, real disappointment, because she was the Paralympic champion in slalom in 2014. She would have been looking forward to that leg, but she is out of the competition. Alana Ramsey of Canada, bib number 13, the bronze medalist in the super combined at the 2018 Paralympic Winter Games. And the Canadian, also a 5 times World Championship medalist, including a bronze in super combined in 2017. And 0.32 off the pace coming into the high throw bowl. She's very much in touch.
Yeah, she's a great glider, so she's done really well across the Silk Road. Now she needs to dig deep and find some clean turns through the high toy bowl, choosing quite a direct line. She definitely has to blend a little bit more of a clean tactical approach. Gets drifted sideways in the long turn.
1.4 off the pace coming into this gliding section. Can she find any time at all?
Alana Ramsey looking just a little tired, a little battle-weary after the last couple of days' competition. Gets pushed wide on the final jump. Oh, another close one
just
there.
Gets it. Oh, she's across the line, 137. But she crossed the line with all her equipment. That will stand. And she should be okay. Let's have a look.
The athletes themselves say got to leave it on the hill. She certainly did that.
Michaela Goslin of Canada, bib number 14. She was 3rd in the World Championship slalom race in 2022, so she'll look to try and get as close as possible to our leaders.
Goslin standing on that left foot, coming into the high toy bowl as hard as she can. Very hard to get the skis to get proper bite. They come from slightly softer snow up in the top section, where it's a little flatter. Down here in the high toy bowl, much of the course still in the shade, so it's remained very hard and icy.
2.35 off the pace. Goslin going to work inside the canyon. And she's gone very wide on the wide, and another one who goes through that blue gate. That extra blue gate from day 2 has caught a number of racers out, and another one goes down.
Oh yeah, you know, the coaches really need to make certain they're relaying information to their athletes up in the start. It's clear that the lower section of this course is running faster than it has previously, so the athletes need to be aware of that. They need to know they need to take a little bit more direction, another 5 or 10 degrees direction to their right as they're coming over that final pitch.
Well, that's big disappointment for Goslin. Another who was looking forward to the slalom leg. But of course, hold while the gates are repaired. That panel, I think, has been torn, so a new panel is required. So a little extra weight needed. And so, whoa, won't be challenging just yet. That blue gate on the finishing pitch wasn't there on day 2 in the Super G. And a number of athletes had just been caught off by that. Ali Johnson enjoying herself.
Love the camera.
A very relaxed mood up the top there. She'll be just saving her mental energy, staying nice and relaxed there. That's the best approach. And once she gets the 1 or 2 minute warning, she'll be on deck, ready to perform. Right, there are various warm-up routines going on while the ski technicians do their job in the background. Challenging conditions for the ski techs with the temperatures rising so quickly. strange or unusual, let's say, weather conditions, certainly compared with what the majority of the athletes experience on the regular tour, where most of the races are in Europe. So the much higher moisture content there in the Alpine mountains than we have here in and around the Beijing area. Humidity very low, and that makes for a difficult job in terms of choosing which wax and which final preparation to do to the bases of the skis. So at the start there, we see quite a lot of scurrying about from the ski technicians, brushing and maybe putting a final dusting or a special coating of some special magic mix on the base of the skis to see if they can gain that extra little advantage for their skiers.
The new panel has been found and being put onto the gate at the bottom of the track, and we'll be ready to go now. The message will be relayed all the way back up the hill, and Hondo Ami of Japan will get given the call very shortly and will be on her way.
Hey. Hey.
Hondo Ami of Japan, bib number 15, a bronze medalist in the World Championship downhill in 2019. This is the part of the super combined race where she needs to find some time, with the slalom leg to come later on in the day on day 3.
Hondo, she's such a powerhouse, such an athletic skier, strong as anything. Oh, a little stumble there, that's a shame. She had very clean turns and a decent split, only 0.38 off the pace on the top checkpoint. Another little lost the right ski and dropped onto the inside, but she's carrying very good speed, I would say.
37.48, the next time split with Shea, our leader. It's going to 1.48 and 94.1 on the gun coming into the Haituo Bowl.
Yeah, she's a little unlucky there. Got a bit of a headwind just coming across the crest, and that, I think that had a contributory effect to her running late just at the top of the turn. It was as if the wind was holding her up towards the top of the hill.
3.61 now, the deficit for Hondo on Boucher, our leader. We can start to see some ruts forming in the canyon as well. Now Hondo needs to go left and come back across to try and find that red gate. Nicely done. 1:21.98, 4.64 off the pace. She slides into 4th place for the time being.
Yeah, good tactical execution at the end of the canyon. She gave that final turn the respect it requires.
Vanessa Greskova of Slovakia, the 16-year-old, on track now. Her first major tournament. She's been para-alpine skiing for the last 8 years. 0.87, the wrong side of the clock at the first split, 4.04 now at the second split. And you can see the wind on the snow blowing up the hill.
Nothing really we can do about that unless the wind gets, you know, above 10, 12 meters per second. The race jury will just keep things going. It's an outdoor sport, and everybody knows you have to take the rough with the smooth, as it were, and try to compensate for it. Again, the coaches will be able to tell their athletes it's perhaps gusty on certain sections, so to make an extra effort to try to keep the body position as low as possible, so that that effect of the wind blowing against you is minimized as best as possible.
Greskova off the final pitch, and 1:27.98 slides into 5th place, 10.64 off the pace. Petra Smazova of Slovakia, 31 years of age, in her 5th Paralympic Winter Games, was a medalist in the slalom in 2014, where she was 3rd, and she's medalled in the tech disciplines at the World Championships as well. So one that needs to try and keep the time gap as short as possible.
Good technical execution through the... Ooh, just as I say that, a little wobble from Smazova on that right foot turn. Sweeps out smoothly, but a little drift on the start of that long right footer. Maybe has taken a little of the edge off her ground speed.
It's over 5 gates from home. There's 4 gates on this finishing pitch. She is through the line in 1:28.13, slides into 6th place. People's Republic of China in the start hut now. Guo Jiaxing, the 23-year-old who only took up the sport in 2016. And Guo, 1.14 off the pace at the first split, now 6.03 off the pace at the second.
Nice direct line into the high toy bowl. Strong athlete here, looking athletic, standing as hard as she can. First on the left and then on the right foot, swinging from one side of the hill to the other. Set this one up, touch that blue line, stand strong again on the right ski, and then use whatever strength reserves you have left in the thighs to keep the position as low as possible through the canyon.
Nearly 9 seconds off the pace.
She's gone wrong. That looked like a pretty serious navigation error. Not quite sure what happened there, but I think she actually missed a gate.
We'll have to wait and see. 12.23 off the pace, 1:29.57. But did she make that gate?
Well, the start intervals as such, with no time for a slow-mo, straight back to the top.
Ali Johnson of the United States of America, next out of the hut with bib number 19, 27 years of age, in her first Paralympic Winter Games. 2.84 off the pace at the first time split. And at the second, that grows to 9.53 as she enters the high toy ball.
Canadian program, another of those choosing to take some of their, the American program, choosing to take some of their less experienced athletes to get that big games experience, and that's exactly what Ali Johnson is getting here today, mixing it with the very best in the world. She'll be very interested in the times and the section times, but ultimately this is the long game for her, building her way towards all the way through this next 4-year cycle to the next Paralympic Games.
As a philosophy of feel the fear and do it anyway. She's certainly doing it here. Good work from Johnson. Now, this last terrain change has proven tricky, but no problems for Johnson. 1:37.51, 20.17 off the pace, but she's down. Zhang Mingqiu from the People's Republic of China is out of the start hut, 19 years of age. Only took up the sport 6 years ago, and she is 1.7, the right side of the clock, coming towards the bottom of the high throw ball, and that has now grown to 2.53.
Looks like Zhang could pop yet another surprise here. Looks to be carrying a lot of speed here, and the body position is almost perfect. This is fast through the canyon. It's all going to be about this final turn.
1:17.34. Oh, she runs wide, has to come all the way back, and does it successfully. And 3.57, the right side of the clock. She goes into top spot with the slalom leg to come. Ebba Arshaw of Sweden, the next to go. World champion in slalom. Can she get close to the leading time? Coming out the ball, 1.4. She's very much in touch.
Bit of work to do, but she's a heavier and stronger athlete, I would suggest, than our leader Zhang. So we have to watch this one carefully. This race is not over, or this leg of the two-leg competition is not over yet.
1:13.77. Arshaw just gets inside the blue gate, and 2.25 goes into second spot. In touch, but she looks a little frustrated with that time.
She'll be frustrated with that small error at the bottom. That certainly cost her about half a second, I would estimate.
Molly Jepson of Canada, the defending Paralympic champion, on course. And 1.12, the wrong side of the clock at the first interval. Gets no help from the factory. You can see that is at 100%, so it's running as a normal stop clock, and she's now 3.05 off the pace, coming into the high toe ball at 92.1 kilometers per hour.
Does a great job of keeping the pace high through high toe ball. Beautifully clean turns here from Jepson. A repeat of what she showed us in the Super G proper. It's all going to be about the run out to the finish here through the canyon.
Getting nice and low here, Jepson trying to be as aerodynamic as possible. Trying to get as close to 1:13.77 as possible with the slalom leg later on day 3. Got to get this turn right, and does. 1:13.77. She is 5th, 5.18. She lost 2 seconds through the canyon.
Well, otherwise, you know, maybe the canyon, her shoulders were a little high, but otherwise a perfect execution by Jepson.
Kamiyama Noriko of Japan, the 49-year-old making her Paralympic debut, is on track, and 1.55 off the pace at the first intermediate.
Kamiyama a little tentative as she crosses the second split at the entry to the high toe bowl. Picks a good tactical line though for her level, coming down through the bowl itself. Keeps herself solid and safe on the skis and maintains the momentum as best she can. Now can afford to try to find a lower position. There she goes into the tuck. Just has to stay relaxed. Keep the air turning over in her lungs. Feed those leg muscles with oxygen to try.
She's got a line error and
Yeah.
she's out. Just got into the tuck position and just didn't see the gate coming.
Yeah, it's difficult. There's a slight curve in the gully, in the canyon itself there, and that gate's right in the shade, so a blue flag in the shade, very difficult for the athletes to see. She's safely across the line, though.
But it won't count. That'll be the 4th disqualification in the women's super combined Super G standing race. Rotfuss, Goslin, Guo and Kamiyama all missing gates in the bottom section of the track, and she will not be back for the slalom leg. So confirmation of the standings at the midpoint of the women's super combined standing race. Zhang of the People's Republic of China leads the way from Arsho of Sweden, with Boucher of France in 3rd, and the defending champion Jepson is 5th, 5.18 off the pace of Zhang, our leader. The women's super combined sitting race on day 3 of the Beijing 2022 Paralympic Winter Games, and there are 8 athletes from 6 national Paralympic committees at the top of the hill, and the reigning Paralympic and world champion Annalena Forster with bib number 24 gets us underway. Annalena Forster of Germany with bib number 24, the defending Paralympic champion, on track, looking to try and make it a 3rd consecutive super combined title.
Good solid stuff. A little tentative, I would suggest, on the opening turns by Annalena Forster. Talking to herself there. We've gotten used to that over the last couple of days. I saying, come on, let's dig deep. These are better turns as the course opens out a little. Sets up well here for the little section before the entry to the high toe bowl.
Second time split, 41.01. The speed is 65.5 kilometers an hour.
A good line, but she's not really being able to make the ski bite. You know, you can hear it. A really high-frequency chatter as it goes across the little ripples and ruts that have been set in the snowpack from the previous couple of days' competition.
And 1 minute 2 seconds dead on the exit of the high 12 ball. And a number of gates through this canyon section that just require the athletes to maintain concentration. Nearly a quarter of the gates on this track in the last 150 meters, and Forster crosses the line 1:26.44. She'll have to wait and see if that's good enough.
Little shake of the head. I think she realizes she's sort of left the door open, if you will.
Muraoka Momoka of Japan, who is on scintillating form here in Beijing 2022, and she's 1.98 up on Forster, our current leader, coming into the high 12 ball.
Amazing 3, now 4 turns. What pace she's bringing through the high toy bowl. This is by far and away the best we've seen this Japanese skier perform at these Paralympic Winter Games. She is absolutely flying.
4.36 now, the right side of the clock. The captain of the Japan team here at Beijing 2022 is leading from the front. She has been absolutely brilliant throughout, and she continues to find that good form. Can she keep that advantage, that size of advantage, to the finish line? It's 1:26.44, and she is in by 6.07 seconds. That is phenomenal skiing.
Amazing turns, particularly bringing the pace that she did into the high toy bowl. That's going to be tough to beat.
Katie Combeluzier of Canada, the next to go, 28 years of age, second in the super combined at the World Championships in Lillehammer in 2022. This is her first Paralympic Winter Games, and she's 11.44 seconds off the pace of Muraoka.
Comboluzier's tactic here has to be to try to limit the damage. She's got to keep it solid, but try not to let too much more speed bleed off and let too much time get away from her. She's run an awful ways wide out to her right, though, before that red gate, and difficult to get the rhythm and the flow from one turn back, from one to another, get that back rather, after that big line error before the previous red. So I think this, even if she gets going again, this will be a DQ, because this is technically a speed leg of this two-part competition. Super G part is a speed leg, and the rule states that if you end up with zero momentum, in other words, if you come to a halt, then you technically have to stop your run there. So it'll be interesting to see if the race jury make any other decision on that. But right now, Combeluzier, the bit still firmly between her teeth, and she keeps her run going now. She comes across the very last couple of gates in the canyon.
Shona Brownlee of Great Britain with bib number 27, the next out of the start hut. Her first Paralympic Winter Games for Brownlee, and she is 9.98 off the pace of Muraoka coming into the bowl. And she picks her way down the bowl.
Brownlee looking more confident. She's not on the ideal line, that's clear to see, but she's looking much more confident than she has in the previous couple of days' competition, and 18.62 at that final split. It's a lot of work to try to do in the slalom leg of this competition, but remember, we're expecting a fairly high rate of attrition, so it's important that all of these athletes, even though they're not going to directly challenge our Japanese leader Muraoka at this point in the competition, it's important that they make their way solidly and cleanly to the finish area, and Brownlee doing just that.
1:20.37, the time of Muraoka. You've got to be in it to win it in the second leg, and Brownlee is in it. 26.54 off the pace. Bib number 28, it's Liu Sitong. Now, Liu Sitong was the only para-alpine skier at Pyeongchang 2018, representing the People's Republic of China. A lot has changed in the intervening 4 years. They now field a really strong team in the Alpine disciplines, and Liu is 0.19, the right side of the clock.
Yeah, if there's anybody remaining in the field for this first leg who can challenge Momooka, then we're looking at her on screen right now. These are beautiful turns. Very high pace coming to the section that brings her down to the entry to High Toy Bowl. Let's watch this next split closely.
Well, she was 6th in the slalom in Pyeongchang in 2018, but the green light has gone red by 0.76, but she has slalom skills, so Liu still in touch.
Yeah, staying in contention. Mustn't forget it's a game of two halves, to use a very overused cliche, but Liu going a little wider than Momooka did on this High Toy Bowl turn section. How much ground speed has she got here? She's got work to do. It's all going to be about the glide once again.
She lost 2 seconds through the High Toy Bowl section. And Liu Sitong in decent pace.
Yeah, it's fast
through the canyon. Has she managed to find any time at all over the final pitch? And 1:20.37. She is 2.84 off the pace, so just limits the time lost in the canyon to 1200ths.
No, that's a good performance. That puts her just more or less exactly where she needs to be for the second leg of this comp.
Zhang Wenjing from the People's Republic of China, 19 years of age, and she is out. Oh, that looked like a really big fall as she got caught up in that netting. And good to see her moving, but let's hope it's nothing serious.
Yeah, it was a very heavy hit. The majority of the sit skiers actually lock the clog, the boot section of the sit ski rig, that actually locked into the bindings, because the high forces that the sit ski can generate on the single ski. You can actually see there that blue strap that's on the tailpiece of her binding is what prevented the ski from coming off as she did the high-speed reverse into the nets. As we say, she's moving okay, and let's keep our fingers crossed that there's no serious damage done there, because, yeah, that was one of the fastest sections of the course where she went down there.
Yeah, the course worker in the purple bib is not allowed to attend the athlete. They have to wait until a medical doctor arrives. This is Muraoka, a leader who was just absolutely brilliant in her run. She's been getting better and better through the competition. Van Bergen for the Netherlands, silver medalist in downhill at the World Championships in Lillehammer. She might have something to say about Muraoka's time.
Yeah, Barbara Van Bergen, a very experienced competitor, so one thing that will perhaps play to her advantage this delay while we get things tidied up at the edge of the course, where Tanaka still is being attended to by the medical crew. The delay shouldn't put Van Bergen or any of the remaining skiers off too badly. The men beginning to prepare, their start time not very far away either.
The Simpson brothers there, that's Annalena Forster. She's down in 3rd place, the defending Paralympic super combined champion.
Not best pleased, I think, with her performance. She's seeing an awful lot of work to do in the second half, the slalom half of the competition. She needs to gather her concentration, put what's happened here this morning, put that behind her, and focus on the task ahead when we go over to the slalom hill for the technical leg of this event, because as we've been saying, particularly with the snow conditions changing so rapidly, anything can happen. You know, I'm expecting it to be, I've used this phrase already, a bit of a war of attrition, and by that I mean I think we'll have a few more do not finish as posted in the slalom leg of the competition by virtue of these rapidly rising temperatures, and obviously as a consequence the snowpack getting softer, and as we go through the competition ruts will develop.
Well, Zhang, with the white helmet on, you can see he's talking to the medical crew. But one thing sometimes you do see when you have these very, very soft conditions is that those that go first or near the top of the order in the technical leg usually have a big advantage and can make big strides through the field.
Well, that's the whole point of these two-leg competitions, whether it's the pure technical events of giant slalom and slalom, which of course are run over two legs, or this hybrid event of super combined, where you have one run of speed and one run of tech. There's an awful lot to play for come the second runs. The majority of the runners will go in reverse order of their finish time from the first leg, much the same as in giant slalom and slalom, and that, as we say, can play to their advantage if the conditions are deteriorating rapidly, either due to the skiers cutting the same tight line on every gate and chopping the snow up, or Mother Nature playing against the athletes, and by the increasing temperatures getting warm much faster than anybody would really like. Another slight concern for the race organisers due to this delay. They'll be looking anxiously at the thermometer and at their clocks to see how time is ticking by, because there is a limit to how long we can stay on the mountain here and expect to get the whole competition completed.
That's Sawano Hiroshi, the start referee. And already just getting feedback from the side where Zhang went down. There's our current standings in this women's Super G leg of the Super Combined sitting race. Muraoka 2.84 and 6 seconds in front of the defending Paralympic champion Annalena Forster of Germany. There are 2 more left at the top of the hill in this women's Super Combined Super G sitting race. It's Tanaka Yoshiko and Barbara Van Bergen. And then we'll move on to the men, starting with the vision impaired. So still the wand. No, now it's being pulled across, so Zhang has successfully got herself off the hill, or been taken off the hill. Tanaka Yoshiko with bib number 30. The 46-year-old in her 4th Paralympic Winter Games. She debuted back in 2006 in Turin. She missed Pyeongchang 4 years ago, but Tanaka on track, trying to chase down the time of her compatriot Muraoka Momoka. And at the first time split, Tanaka is 1.2 off the pace.
That's a respectable start. She's had a very long wait up there, and it can play on the nerves. She looked a little bit anxious, maybe tentative's a better word, in the first few turns, but now looks to be settling a little more solidly. Sets up strongly here as she comes towards the next split time.
Spending quite a bit of time on that left edge to set up, and 1.2 at the first split. Has grown, and it's grown significantly to 6.59, coming into the Hai Tuo Bowl at 42.8 kilometers an hour.
giving those middle flatter turns a little bit too much respect. There is a straighter, faster line to be had, but these are not too shabby, these turns through the high toy bowl. Drifting low, however, will cost her time on this that red section that she's just passed, and now pushed out wide to her right as she passes the final split.
10.63 off the pace. A lot of the turning being done on the gate or after the gate, which will mean she's covering a lot more snow than those that have gone before her. But she will, if she negotiates these final 5 gates, will be in the second run, and that, from her point of view, is what counts. And she will cross the line in 1:36.33, fourth quickest. Barbara van Bergen of the Netherlands, the last out of the start hut in this women's super combined Super G sitting race. The 43-year-old who competed at the Paralympic Summer Games here in Beijing in 2008 in wheelchair basketball. And can she add a Paralympic Winter Games medal to the 2 bronze medals she won in wheelchair basketball at the Summer Games?
She's certainly on track right now. We mentioned earlier she's a very experienced. Oh, just as I say that, she makes a big skid in the middle of the high toy bowl. There's still a couple of steeper gates here to let her pick up the pace again, but that will have cost her.
0.87 coming into the ball, and then she's very, very wide. Just makes it back for the red gate. 3.1 off the pace.
That's a shame. That was such a promising top 2 sections, and the high toy bowl looked like it, maybe that mistake in the middle maybe shook her confidence or timing for the following turns. Just has to hang on here and keep it running straight all the way to the finish line and see what the clock gives her.
1:20.37, and she's third. 3.39 off the pace. She's given herself a real shot at a medal here as Barbara van Bergen. But it's Muraoka Momoka of Japan who will go into the slalom leg in front. Standings at the midpoint of the women's super combined sitting race. It's Muraoka Momoka of Japan who will lead the races into the second leg. Liu of China second, Van Bergen of Netherlands third. The men's super combined vision impaired race at the Beijing 2022 Paralympic Winter Games. And we have 11 racers from 8 national Paralympic committees at the top of the hill. Here is the start list. The defending Paralympic champion is Miroslav Haros. He goes at bib number 4. The world champion is Yassine Delaplace. He is at bib number 3. But this will be a really keenly contested medal, as it has been on day 1 in the downhill and day 2 in the Super G. This could go any way. You can see from that camera angle the moisture in the snow. It starts to look a little bit more like sugar. But it's going to be Johannes Eichner of Austria who will get us underway, the 16-year-old. And his guide is Matteo Fleischmann. And a really good Winter Games so far as Eichner. His twin sister Barbara is racing here, as is his older sister Veronica. And there are 2 more sisters, but they are not visually impaired. And they have acted as guides on some occasions. Johannes Eichner of Austria and Matteo Fleischmann, his guide, will get this men's super combined Super G vision impaired race underway. And Eichner the world champion in slalom from Lillehammer in January of this year, who was second in the Super G, is out of the track, and he will really fancy his chances in this race, given his performances in Lillehammer. And his guide, Matteo Fleischmann, is setting a really good pace.
Great focus shown by both these athletes. Their timing together, the synchronicity of their start procedure and their actual start moves, really flawless, I would say. Bringing their A game to the super combined competition.
83.7 kilometers per hour as they enter the high 12 ball. Now, Fleischmann has got to keep a good distance. He doesn't want to be too close, but he doesn't want to be too far away.
Aigner working hard, trying to stay down out the wind, but get the legs working out from the body. That's a very clean turn, leaving the high toy bowl section.
50.86, and this is a good gap between them. And Aigner will look to set a really competitive time for those at the top of the hill. There's 10 more to come, and Aigner tucks for the line and will set a time of 1:10.39. Good work from Johannes Aigner and Matteo Fleischmann. Bib number 2, Neil Simpson of Great Britain, and his guide Andrew Simpson, his older brother. And they are out of the start huts. Silver at the World Championships in 2022. What can they do in the super combined leg of this, or the super G leg of this super combined? These 1200ths off the pace of Aigner.
They're really flying through the Silk Road, I have to say. Very high speeds.
And they get the reward, 500ths the right side of the clock. What a turn from Simpson. He almost gets high-sided. Great recovery, but he's had to ski an awful long way round to make the blue gate.
That's great connection between the boys, you know. Andrew not slamming the brakes on to wait for Neil, just bleeding a little bit of speed off. They've obviously lost some time because of that error, but they're not giving this one up without a fight.
Well, 6/10, that is not too bad at all. And I guess from Simpson's point of view, the error coming high enough up the boulder, but he shouldn't lose too much pace through the canyon, but we'll have to wait and see. Aigner's time, 1:10.65. Here comes Simpson now, and he'll stop the clock. 2200ths. Well, considering that mistake, that's an excellent time.
Yeah, really good work by the boys again. They're full of confidence after yesterday's stellar performance on day 2.
Yassin Delaplace of France out of the start up, the world champion in the super combined from Lillehammer, and his first Winter Paralympic Games. And he is dead level with Aigner at the first split time.
And like the Simpson brothers, this pairing working very well together. Yassin Delaplace, like Neil Simpson, a B2 category skier, so it's all the more important to maintain very close contact with your guy. More limited vision than the B3s, but this is good.
0.45 off in front of the time of Aigner, and quick as well on the gun. And Valentin Giraud, his guide, is leading an excellent pace.
Yeah, they're really going for it, the pair here. You know, they're out to make amends from the previous couple of days and really scoring strongly there through the high toy bowl.
Almost doubles his advantage to 0.86. Delaplace, the defending world champion, just makes the red gate. That was really close, and the guy perhaps just slowing up and hindering him, but he's still in by 1.5 seconds. That was hairy stuff.
That was right on the limit. That's visually impaired guiding and visually impaired skiing at its very, very best. What a run from the Frenchman. Delaplace keeping the body low, looking for speed at every opportunity.
Miroslav Haras of Slovakia, the next to go, the super combined Paralympic champion in 2018. And the silver medalist in the downhill in 2014. What can he do here? He's plus 0.26, the wrong side of the clock at the first split, and the second split sees him half a second off the pace.
The connection between guide and athlete a little bit looser than it ought to be. I would say they're a little bit far apart. There's Hudik rather urging Haros on by trying to stretch the gap out, but Haros struggling to keep with him.
1.22 the gap. And Haros is in touch. But De La Place, our leader, has set a blistering pace. Just gets inside the blue gate. 1:11:02, 1.94.
Yeah, it was another risky ride there by the Slovakian pair, but they knew they had to take chances. They just got a little bit loose in the middle part of the course, but they're relatively speaking still in touch with the leaders.
Bib number 6 is Giacomo Bertagnoli, no bib number 5. So Bertagnoli and his guide Andrea Ravelli on track. Bertagnoli, a B3 class, the slalom and giant slalom champion in 2018, so he'll be looking to the second leg if he can stay close, and plus 0.42 is good and the speed is high.
Oh, and Giacomo Bertagnoli making some killer turns down through the Haitoi Bowl. This is risky stuff, but I reckon this is fast. So it's all going to be about whether they can carry the momentum through this curve.
Plus 0.73. He was taking a really direct line through the ball.
Tucks down now, Luca, that's just an absolutely perfect tuck position. The skis almost completely flat. There you go. Look at them washing over the snow. Flat base. He's doing just exactly what he needs to do here.
109.12 and Bertagnoli third. 1.59 off the pace. Good run.
They tried it all, but not quite fast enough.
Next out of the start-up, bib number 7, Jakub Krakow of Slovakia and his guide Branislav Brosman. Krakow was the first male athlete to represent Slovakia to win gold at Paralympic Games when he won Super G in 2014, and 0.29 off the pace at the first split time.
Excellent work by the pair on the first 4 or 5 gates. The connection very, very strong indeed, and they maintain that. The distance hardly increasing here as they go across the flats. That means that Krakow can tighten up, get a little bit of a sighting on Brodsman, and get on with the job of skiing as quickly and as cleanly as he can.
The Super Combined champion from Vancouver in 2010.
Amazing turns here. They're on a super aggressive line down through the Haitoi Bowl. Only the clock will tell if it's quick enough. It's such an important blend. They've gone in very tight on the double.
Well, he's just lost a quarter of a second, not even through that section. And Krakow has to be spot on through this very difficult section. It's difficult because there are a lot of gates crammed into this flat section. And 109.12, he's going to make it down, and he's going to go fourth. 1.67. You could throw a blanket over second through to fourth, or second through to fifth. This is Hwang Mingyu of Korea and Han Se-hyun, his guide. And Hwang in his second Winter Paralympic Games, racing all 5 events here, and 1.97 off the pace at the first split.
You see here B3 skier, so the guide and athlete can afford a little bit more distance, and the athlete can still make out just where their guide is. However, I would suggest the distance here is getting way too big for Hwang to really keep his foot confidently on the gas. You see him going back a little on the tails of his skis. I think that confirms what I'm suggesting. They need to tighten this up.
Out to 6.2 now, coming into the Haitoi Bowl. Not as fast as some before him. But if he can ski a clean, direct line, then he might find some time. But there's a bit of sliding going on.
Yeah, it's damage limitation here, I think, rather than really trying to arc it. They're a little bit ragged in terms of their distance management, I would say, and they have to be careful of that, because although the skiing itself is not that challenging across the flats, we've seen already today the final turn, that left foot turn over that last jump. The blue gate tucked away over the crest here has caught a lot of athletes out, and this pair need to be certain of their direction. They've got that well.
1:09.12. He's 12.85 off the pace, and he goes into 7th place.
12.85 off pace in 7th place.
Australia in the start hut. Patrick Jensen in his 2nd Winter Paralympic Games, and his guide Amelia Hodgson. And Jensen, the 26-year-old, is 0.8 off the pace at the first split.
Just missed the execution point of that turn, just where we swapped camera angles. He's run very straight, and he's caught Amelia up as a consequence. If they can keep this connection, this could help them a lot on the coming turns. But he really has to get a foot on the gas down here to keep this pace going through the high toy bowl. This is good. It's some of the best skiing I've seen from the Australian pair so far during these games.
3.89 off the pace at the top of the bowl. At the bottom of the bowl, that is now 5.96.
It's not bad, you know. They know they're chasing down the favourites. So if they had a onboard readout, they'd be pleased enough with their split at this point.
Good strength from Jensen to stay upright after hitting that gate.
Yeah, brave stuff indeed.
Back inside to make the blue, and 1:17.85 goes 7th, 8.73 off the pace. Well, that hurt the shoulder. Unsurprisingly, he absolutely clattered that gate. Marek Kubaka of Slovakia, bib number 10, the only B1 skier in this competition, in this race, and he is skiing with blacked out goggles. And at the first time step, 1.65 off the pace. With Kubaka, a world champion in giant slalom back in 2019.
Now the Slovakian pairing, they've got their connection stronger than in the previous couple of days' competition, and Kubaka just sensing his way down, following that strong audio cue from his guide Maria Zatovikova. Maria bleeds off a little extra speed just to make sure that Marek is right behind her. Just good guiding.
He was inside the gate, he was inside the gate.
Got to keep it going, got to keep the momentum up. But with absolutely zero vision, you know, it's very, very difficult to recover from an error like that, or from losing the line so significantly. So unfortunately, Kubaka's race is run. They're going to be a DNF here, but it really is some feat to watch this pair performing together.
So the blue gate with which he missed, it's so steep that when he, obviously following the sound of his guide, as he made that turn, he would have picked up a lot of pace. And
quick look back at their start technique. You know, they're well connected here, but you can see the challenge that Kubaka faces. You know, it's unbelievably difficult, and it's really only possible to understand what the B1s are doing if you actually stand at the side of the hill and watch them skiing. Now the pair making their way safely down the bottom section of the high toy bowl, so we'll be a moment or two until we get our next skier off and running from the start as we come to the closing stages of this men's visually impaired category.
You can see there the Snow just starting to break up. And the start referee and the timing keeper agree that they're ready to go. Bib number 11, Logan Leach from Canada, and his guide, Julien Petit. Leach, just 19 years of age in his first Paralympic Winter Games.
A little bit of confusion here at the start. Normally they'd be waiting for the beat countdown.
Julien Petit and Logan Leach on their way. And at the first time split, Leach finds himself 1.18 off the pace.
Good work through the middle part, down through the Silk Road. Yeah, real clean skiing from this pair.
A little stumble from Leach, but he recovers well.
Keeps that connection. We're looking at a B3 skier here, so a good solid connection to his guide in front, so long as they maintain the sort of distance, about 5 or 6 ski lengths that they have at the moment.
1.18 has grown to 4.73 as Leach enters the bowl at 77 kilometers per hour.
Almost high-sided there as well. Gives you an idea of just how much pressure the guys are putting on their skis to get around these difficult turns. Hanging on well here. This is a good solid run from the Canadians.
7.62 now off the pace from Leach. Remember the Super combined 2 legs. The first leg a Super G race, the second a slalom race later on day 3. And Leach will want to be on that start list for the slalom because anything can happen. Good work from Logan Leach, 1:19.3, 10.18 off the pace. So here are the standings after the Super G leg of the men's super combined vision impaired, and it's Hyacinthe Delaplace, the world champion, who leads the way from Aigner, and then Bertagnoli, Krakow, Simpson, and Harris, the defending champion, in 6th, but just 1.9 seconds separating the top 6. So the men's super combined standing Super G start list, and Arthur Boucher, the reigning world champion, will get us underway with bib number 12, who was also the silver medalist in 2018. The defending Paralympic champion Alexei Bugayev is not here. There are 36 competitors from 17 national Paralympic committees at the top of the hill, and Oscar Burnham of France will wrap up proceedings in this standing race. Arthur Boucher of France gets the men's super combined underway. The first leg, a run of Super G. And Boucher is the youngest member of the French team in Pyeongchang, and now bringing all that experience to the fore in Beijing.
He really is a force to be reckoned with. Really nice direct line, but keeping the arcs smooth, those shallow arcs across the Silk Road. Arthur Boucher picking out almost a perfect line here, now sets up well for the high toy bowl.
94.8 kilometers per hour coming into the bowl. He was second in downhill slalom, Super G and super combined in 2018. He'll be looking to go at least one step better here in Beijing. 51.42. Well, we don't know how that stands. We'll have to wait and see, but good skiing so far.
Keeps that good aerodynamic position through the canyon. All in all, this is a very clean run, I would suggest, from Arthur Boucher.
Boucher, nice through the air, and 110.88. Roger Puig-Davy from Andorra, the next out the start hut, 24 years of age in his second Paralympic Winter Games. Has top 10 finishes at the World Championships in downhill and Super G. So he's got to try and stay as close as possible to the leaders in this part of the Super Combined.
Into the high toy bowl. Good couple of early turns. The third one runs very clean indeed. Fourth also, he gets popped a little on the exit now, struggling to get the balance back as he comes to this little straightaway, the little shimmy before the long sweeping right footer. A little bit more time lost, but he's still relatively in touch.
Just under 2.5 seconds off the pace of Arthur Boucher of France, our current leader.
Real low tuck position, Pou David. Around this final curve, a little shaky into it.
Oh, 1:10.88. That was a heart-in-the-mouth moment for Pou David, but it gives you an idea of the speed they're carrying out of the section. And he's pumped. The adrenaline will be flowing after that jump. Robin Kusch of Switzerland, the next to go, the 23-year-old in his second Paralympic Winter Games. And Kusch 0.63 off the pace at the first split. Finds himself 1.04 off the pace at the second, but good pace coming into the high toy bowl.
Yeah, working these skis well through the high toy bowl. Into this small shimmy now, straight just for a fraction of a second, and a quick move out to his left, and hold all the way around, clip inside that red gate and out onto the canyon.
Good work from Kusch, 1.42 off the pace. Coming into the canyon.
Slightly different line from the other skiers on the canyon. Let's see if it's paid off for him.
1:10.88, stops the clock at 1:13.14. 2.26 off the pace, slides into second for the time being. Manuel Bodnex of France, the next to go, 34 years of age. Made his para Alpine skiing debut in the 2018-19 season, so this is his first Paralympic Winter Games. 0.81 off the pace at the first split. He's now 1.68 off the pace as he comes in at 96.8 kilometers per hour.
Real good skiing for Bodnex. Into high toy bowl. This exit turn, which is all important, doesn't really favor him. He has to stand here on his prosthetic limb all the way around. Beautiful balance, though, from the Frenchman, and carries good pace, I would say, out into the canyon.
2.07 off the pace of his compatriot, Leader Boucher. And Bodnex, oh, big height, but he had the right body angle to get that left ski to bite to bring him inside the blue gate. 2.77 off the pace.
Good run, a little ragged off the final jump, but very much in touch.
Thomas Phil of Switzerland, bib number 16. Phil, 35 years of age. He made his Paralympic Winter Games debut in 2006 in Torino. And he won a bronze medal in slalom and giant slalom. 0.61 off the pace at the first split. Split 2 sees him 1.28 off the pace. So good pace, good speed coming into the bowl.
Leaving a nice clean track. Whoa, just as I say that, this is the entry of that previous blue gate. Goes in tight here, can he hang on to it? A little chatter, but again, an athlete coming into the canyon with pretty decent pace.
Now he loses 6/10 through that bowl section. And looks visibly to be going pretty quickly through this canyon section. And at 1:10.88, he is 2.82 off the pace. Slides into fourth for the time being. Federico Pellizzari of Italy, the next to go, bronze medalist in this discipline, the Super Combined, at the World Championships in January of 2022. He's 1.16 off the pace, though, at the first split. Pellizzari now 2.34 off the pace.
Ooh, aggressive stuff, confident stuff as well at the top of the high toy bowl. Putting his leg strength to very good use through here. Very clean turns. And then a little bit hot here, so he has to hold on tight, but finds a straight line from that early entry to the right footer. Finds a straight line out onto the canyon.
Good time though through the high-toe bowl. Doesn't get any help from the clock in terms of factoring. The clock running at 100%. He could be in trouble here, but winding down the windows just gets it inside the blue gate. 4.27 off the pace, slides into 6th position. Oh, that was really close on the finishing jump.
He should have taken a little more direction on that final jump. He probably lost himself a bit of time there. He travelled quite a long line, and then the heavy edge set to make it inside that difficult blue gate. Again, that would have cost him a 10th or two.
Next in the finish area, currently in 3rd place.
Quick look back at the very aggressive execution. Look how clean, barely any snow coming off the skis here. Really strong skiing from Pellizzari through the high toy bowl.
Bib number 18 is Davide Bendotti of Italy. Bendotti, 28 years of age, in his 2nd Paralympic Winter Games. Now, he's a 2-time Italian slalom champion, so he'll be looking to the 2nd leg to maybe make up some ground, but the order of the day in run 1 and the speed part of this super combined is to stay in touch, and 0.87 off the pace at the first split.
Yeah, he has to limit the damage here. Very difficult skiing as a LW2 skier, just skiing on one leg. Very difficult to hang on and keep the momentum flowing through these big, long, fast turns. Really long, heavy forces to be dealt with. In some ways, the single ski can help him go a straighter line in the slalom part of the competition, but he has to make sure he doesn't lose any extra time in the Super G leg.
Nice entry into the high toe bowl on a difficult right-handed turn.
He just loses the line there ever so slightly. That's going to hurt the momentum, but he's still relatively in touch.
4.78.
Used every bit of his leg strength to help him stay in a low position, try to keep the hips down as far as he can, get his back as flat as possible to break through the air with minimal resistance.
Nicely done over the final jump, and 1:17.37, 6.49 off the pace after the Super G run.
Rip it, Thomas. Up.
Thomas Charles Walsh from the United States of America, the 27-year-old in his 2nd Paralympic Winter Games. He was a bronze medalist in the Super Combined at the World Championships in 2019. And in touch, 1.37 off the pace coming into the high toe bowl.
Walsh really giving it everything. These are amazingly quick turns through here. He's managed to find a short line. He's managed to get the timing just right. He gets pushed wide, goes a little bit further than he would have liked, but he's kept the pace. He didn't lose the carve through that long turn into the canyon.
He didn't get the time split coming out of the canyon. So Walsh, just makes that red gate. He is really traveling here. Is Thomas Charles Walsh, just makes the blue gate, and he slides into 5th, 3.06 off the pace. That was a run full of incident and drama.
Yeah, he knew he had to push it absolutely to the limit. He did exactly that. I think he'll be pleased with that effort.
Mitchell Gawley of Australia, bib number 20 in his 4th Paralympic Winter Games, 5th in the Super Combined in 2014 and 2018. Can he get closer to the podium in 2022? He's 1.14 off the pace at the first split, and at the second split he finds himself 2.44 off the pace, but he is traveling 110 kilometers per hour. That's the quickest so far.
Yeah, and again, an athlete taken by surprise a little, or underestimating the pace he was carrying into the high toy bowl. He's done a good job of hanging on to the line, has Mitch, though. Strong turn here. He knows he can't afford any small errors. His factor doesn't help him at all. This run from here to the finish has got to be absolutely flawless.
3.62 off the pace at the last split time. Gourlay trying to get these skis to run as cleanly as possible. Gets a big air off the final jump, and he'll stop the clock at 1:16 dead. 5.12 off the pace. Bib number 21 is Nico Pajanschnitz of Austria, 25 years of age, in his second Paralympic Winter Games, and at 0.96 rose to 1.4 at the second time split.
Another skier really getting to grips well with the high toy bowl, those technical high-speed turns, classic Super G turns through this section. Milicic finds the tuck early coming out to the Ganyan.
That is good skiing from Pajanschnitz. He's in touch. He's in fifth position at that last time split. And there's a big gap on the podium. Big air from Pajanschnitz, and he did well to be as aerodynamic as possible in fifth place. 2.96 off the pace.
Yeah, he'll be pleased with that for sure. That was really good across the canyon as well. He let the skis glide very well indeed.
Santeri Kiveri of Finland, the 21-year-old who was fourth in the slalom at Pyeongchang in 2018 and sixth in the super combined. What can he do here? 0.59 off the pace of the first split. This is an athlete who won the Slalom World Cup in 2019-2020. And he's got some headwind to deal with, though, by the looks of the snow.
Works the skis well. Now a skier choosing to go in hot to the double, the long double coming off the high toy bowl.
Well, this is the closest we've seen for a number of skiers to our leader, Arthur Bochet, who leads by 2.26 seconds. So 1.68 from Kiveri could get him inside the top 5 over the final pitch. And 1:10.88. He's second, 2.07 off the pace. That's an excellent run from a slalom specialist.
Yeah, that's exactly where we want to be. As you say, he's a very, very strong slalom skier. You can see the body language there. He's pleased with that effort.
Jordan Boissin of France, the next to go. And Boissin, 28 years of age, 0.64 off the pace at the first split. And 1.94 off the pace here, and a nice entry into the ball.
Keeps it very clean, yeah, absolutely. Coming into the top of the high toy bowl, very clean turns. Got to just try to run these turns out. The line dropping away from him, but oh, that was the error he could ill afford. Stands up, knows that's a hugely costly error, just right at the very bottom of the pitch. Now you see how flat and how slow this section can be once the momentum has gone.
Well, he didn't miss a gate, so he's okay to continue. And was that huge disappointment for him because he was skiing so nicely in the ball. 8.32 off the pace, slides into 12th. Bib 24 is Thomas Krocher of Austria, a 28-year-old in his third Paralympic Winter Games. An athlete who was fifth in the slalom in 2014 in Sochi and was a silver medalist in slalom at the World Championships in Tarvisio in 2017. So 1.5 off the pace coming into the high toy bowl is a good effort from Thomas Krocher.
Great skiing through the high toy bowl as well. Tommy Groker, you mentioned experience there. He's putting every moment of that experience to very good use, keeping a very calm approach, but a lot of power on that ski at the same time. And now, immensely strong athlete now, keeps himself low, Gets one of those outriggers up where he can to help him improve the aerodynamics. Keeps it low, low, low. Needs to get the entry and the exit of this. Oh, a little wobble. He recovers well, though, and keeps it clean to the line.
1:10.88, ninth, 3.38 off the pace. James Whitley of Great Britain, bib number 25, the 24-year-old in his third Paralympic Winter Games. His best performances at the Paralympic Winter Games was 10th place in downhill and slalom in 2018. Well, if you can combine those two together on Super Combined Day, then he might well set a personal best.
Yeah, he's got the right skill set for this particular discipline. And right now, Super G, part one of the Super Combined, going pretty well for James Whitley. That was good skiing down through High Toy Bowl. He's a good glider as well. He needs to get the shoulders down to take as much of an advantage from that body position as he can.
Yeah, the gate's just moving. He might have a bit of a tailwind coming through this canyon section. Yeah, the wind coming from behind him, and he can't make the gate. He just had a little bit more pace because of that wind coming from behind him. And that hurt.
Yeah, underestimated the direction required at the exit.
Adam Hall of New Zealand, the next to go, 34 years of age, 2 times a slalom gold medalist at the Paralympic Winter Games. So another who needs to limit the time loss on the Super G leg, and he's 0.29 off the pace at the first split, but that has grown now to 2.57 at the second.
Strong turns nonetheless from Adam. It's not his speciality, as we're saying, the speed leg of this competition. He'll look to make up for lost time in the slalom leg and also give himself a race rehearsal for his preferred discipline of slalom, of course. 0.01 coming off the High Toy Bowl. He's still relatively in touch and a good factor in the Super G leg at 83.64%.
Adam Hall, a bronze medalist in Pyeongchang in the Super Combined, will stop the clock at 1:15.33, 11, 4.45 off the pace. That could prove very interesting. He likes it.
Yeah, the time difference is the important part there.
Spencer Wood of the United States of America in his second Paralympic Winter Games. He raced the tech disciplines in 2018. And racing all the disciplines apart from giant slalom here in 2.27 off the pace coming into the bowl.
Clean turns from Wood. Get the body down low as early as possible. And got to stay calm through the canyon.
He was reclassified in 2019. It was Wood, and well, a couple of months later made his first podium when he was third in the Zagreb slalom. 1:10.88 makes the blue gate, and he is 10th, 4 seconds off the pace. Good work from Wood.
Yeah, it's going to be a very close competition in the slalom leg this afternoon.
Kuriki Kakuta of Japan, next on track, 39 years of age. He's represented his country at every Paralympic Winter Games since 2006. And 1.37 off the pace at the first split. He's now 3.42 off the pace at the second split as he comes into the High Toy Bowl.
Real strong turns here, though. Not letting any much more time slide by. Oh, but the line error just got bounced out of the turn, and his race is run. He missed that gate. Koiki's race is over, unfortunately, for him.
A huge disappointment for the athlete from Japan. You can hear the frustration as he picks his way down the remainder of the slope.
Here's the mistake again. Just got pushed a little too far out to his right. I think he underestimated how far across to the left the next red gate was. Couldn't quite get enough purchase on the ski that late in the turn, and has to let the next gate slide by him.
Martin Franz of Slovakia with bib number 29. The next to challenge, 37 years of age, a 5th Paralympic Winter Games for France, who is 2.5 seconds off the pace coming into the high toe ball.
France takes this direct line because he's not able to get really strong cars at this sort of pace. He's quite a slightly built athlete, so that helps him get through the air, but the lack of mass means he can't afford to bleed any extra speed off by catching any extra air through the canyon. And as we've said many times, this turn has to be nailed. He gets it really well.
France over the line, 1:16.46, 14th place for the time being after the Super G leg. Misawa Hiraku of Japan, 34 years of age, made his Winter Paralympic debut in 2006, so his 5th games, and he's now 1.78 off the pace, traveling at 84 kilometers an hour.
Another very strong LW2 athlete. A little ragged there. I think the wind giving him some troubles as well. The wind seems to be swirling around at the top of the high toy ball.
Well, now the gates in the canyon are absolutely limp, so that wind from a little earlier on has disappeared. But Misawa, a bronze medalist in slalom at the World Championships in 2009, will be looking forward to the 2nd leg of this super combined. 1:10.88 won't be beaten, but he'll stop the clock at 1:15.18 and goes 12th, 4.3 off the pace. Jeffrey Stutz of the Netherlands with bib number 31, 26 years of age, in his 2nd Winter Paralympic Games. And his strength is the speed disciplines. Always down, just losing it on the inside.
Yeah, Jeffrey maybe just letting the concentration slip there. The upper body tipping a little bit too far in over the left ski onto the inside there, and the outside ski breaking away as a result. Yeah, not much more you can say than that. I'm sure he won't mind me being a little critical of his technique and approach there, but that's the end of his day's competition, unfortunately, for Stud.
Yeah, he has to ski down to the bottom and come out skiers right. Let's have another look.
Yeah, the strength not really in Jeffrey's legs today by the looks of things, and not too serious a fall, so he should be okay, and he makes his way safely, solidly down to the exit point at the bottom of High Toy Bowl.
Leander Kress from Germany, just waiting to get his challenge underway. Bib 32, Leander Kress, the 21-year-old from Germany in his first Paralympic Winter Games. He is out of the start hut. He competed in his first World Championships back in January of 2022 in Lillehammer, where his best result was in the slalom leg. He was 19th, so 0.54 off the pace of Boucher, our leader at the first split. Is a good start for the young German.
Yeah, for an LW2, that's a really strong start. Those top turns, they need a lot of leg strength and a really powerful movement from side to side. So Let's watch how he gets on. He's heading towards the exit. So he's off the Silk Road now, coming down towards the high tower. That will be the crucial section for him.
1.96, so skiing in 12th place on the hill.
Great turn on the entry. Another strong blue gate turn. Drifts it a little when he's on his little toe side. The line getting away from him, so he chooses to run straight as he dares. Got to hang on now.
Brings it back nicely, but he finds a place on the hill through the high toe ball. So good skiing from Leander Kress.
Yeah, makes a little bit, a rather heavy line adjustment on the first third of the canyon. As long as he cleans this up, should be pretty respectable this time.
1:10.88, 15th, 5.41. Good run from Kress of Germany.
Here we go, Jesse. Idaho.
Jesse Keefe of the United States of America, 17 years of age in his first Paralympic Winter Games. And the second time split, Keefe is 3.24 off the time, but he's got good pace at 102 kilometers an hour.
Certainly brave skiing coming down here, getting that tuck position through the high toy bowl. We haven't seen many people do that. There he goes again, goes under the arm, really giving this everything he's got.
4.86 as he gets into that tuck position.
Even as an LW4, the factor doesn't really give him much of an advantage, and I think that's partly what's spurring him on. Good execution here, keeps it just inside the blue.
And 17th, 5.93 off the pace for Jesse Keefe of the United States of America. Bib 34, Markus Nilsen Grasto of Norway, 20 years of age in his first Paralympic Winter Games. 1.26 off the pace at the first time split.
Still letting the skis run well through the section just before high toy ball. Needs to get forward now and drive the front part of the ski into the snow to gain the direction for these difficult technical to more technical turns.
The 20-year-old from Oslo now finds himself just under 7 seconds off the pace of Boucher, our leader.
Good tuck position, flat back there. Shoulders coming up a little now, maybe a little earlier than he needs to. Perhaps fatigue starting to take its toll.
Boucher, our leaders, time is 1:10.88. And Nilsen Grasto 20th, 8.73 off the pace. Andrew Harre of the United States of America with bib number 35, the 26-year-old in his second Paralympic Winter Games, and he was the right side of the clock at the first interval. He was 700th the right side, but he's gone down on the roller coaster section and he is out.
That's unfortunate. That's an LW1, you know, his ability to stay on top of the skis really is challenged, and as we've said already, the accelerated forces up on the top part of this course really are extreme. The skis just got away from him on the entry to that previous turn, and not able to keep the arc, keep the ski bent up, to keep it gripping and create the turning force to get him around that turn.
Big disappointment for Harre, who is considering doing sit skiing after these Beijing Paralympic Winter Games. As we see our current standings, Boucher, Kiveri, the slalom specialist, in second, Kush in third. But we await Aaron Lindstrom. Aaron Lindstrom of Sweden, bib number 36, 21 years of age in his second Paralympic Winter Games. His best results in Pyeongchang was a 7th place in slalom. So Lindstrom will be looking to the second leg of this super combined. And 1.06 off the pace at the first split.
It's a bit ragged through the tail end of the Silk Road. Lindstrom carrying a lot of pace. Snow seems to be speeding up a little as some moisture comes to the surface.
Nice turn coming into the bowl, like he was on rails. There'll be a tipping point, won't there, between the snow speeding up and slowing down?
Yeah, that's right. Just a little bit of moisture in the snow makes it faster, but too much moisture creates too much suction and slows the skis down as a result. We saw that in the canyon section in the later stages of the downhill on day one, where snow really did get sticky.
Lindstrom through this final canyon section, trying to get as close to 1:10.88 as he can, and he will stop the clock. 3.34 for pace. He's inside the top 10. Sun Yanlong of the People's Republic of China with bib number 37 is out of the start at 27 years of age in his first Paralympic Winter Games. Like a lot of the athletes from the People's Republic of China, has taken up the sport in the last 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, the PRC program, you know, they did a massive talent screening exercise at the start of about 6 years ago, and they've managed that program exceptionally well, producing a great crop of very, very skillful, very successful so far athletes, and soon joining, keeping himself in those ranks, I would say. He's not that far off at that final checkpoint, and looking to be carrying good pace through the canyon. Just take a bit of direction here, looks to have it well.
Oh, just has to adjust to make the blue gates. 1:16.87, 5.99, slides into 19th place for the time being. Tokai Masahiko of Japan with bib number 38, the next to go. 48 years of age in his third Paralympic Winter Games. It would have been his 5th, but he missed 2010 and he missed 2018. But the 2004 world champion in slalom and Super G, still mixing it with the best.
Right, clean into the high toy bowl. LW3 skier, so the leg strength just sometimes escaping him. You can see sometimes on his, especially on his left foot, a little bit of extra wobble in the leg there. So good skills by the athlete to maintain balance over that all-important outside turning ski.
Okay, 1.32 off the pace, and as he comes through the canyon, as he just goes through, you'll see the moisture glistening in the snow, especially on that blue line, as the temperature starts to warm up. Now Tokai will stop the clock at 1:21.30, 23rd position, 10.42 off the pace. Tia Gamur of Switzerland, bib number 39, a 3-time Paralympic champion in 2018 in downhill, Super G and giant slalom. And the 25-year-old will try and be as close as possible on this Super G leg, and 0.23 is really close.
Yeah, and a great line down through the high toy bowl, taking the risks, pushing the line to the max, straightening it out as much as he dares. Moore finds the tuck before the long sweeping turn, holds it for the majority of that curve. He really means business here, looking for speed at every opportunity.
Well, 2.26 seconds separates the top 3, and Gamur is just over a second off the pace of Boucher as he winds his way to the final jump. And Gamur will tuck for the line, and he'll stop the clock at 1:12.05, second, 1.17 off the pace. Decent run from the Swiss athlete.
Yeah, he's more or less exactly where he wants to be with that one.
Jules Segers of France, the next to go, 19 years of age in his first Paralympic Winter Games. From the French ski resort of Leger, part of the Port du Soleil ski area. 0.85 at the first splits, goes by nearly 2 seconds through the roller coaster section of the run. And the wind starts to blow again. You can see the gates at the top there just starting to bend down the hill. But then nothing here as he comes into the canyon.
Segers now tucks down as best he can. 9'2" athletes, so sometimes the availability of power, of absolute physical strength is a little bit unpredictable, but he seems to have managed that part of his challenge well today. The run going very well for him.
Segers 1:17.59, 22nd position, 6.71 off the pace. Next to go, it's Arvid Skoglund of Sweden, bib number 41, the 18-year-old in his first Paralympic Winter Games. And at 1.49 is going to 3.05 as he enters the bowl.
Lovely clean turns here. Just keep the momentum going. That's the name of the game from here. And get down out of the air as best you can. More or less as good as he could have hoped for on the closing turns there in the high toy bowl. Let's watch closely as he goes across the tail end of the canyon. Direction here needs to be perfect. Looks good.
Skoglund, who led around 1.5 seconds per section, uses a little more time in that final section to slide into 22nd position. People's Republic of China next in the start hut. Chen Xinjun, the 25-year-old. Another in his first Paralympic Winter Games, and 1.84 off the pace at the first split. We'll get his second time split just here on this blue gate, and it is 6.03.
Good line through the high toy bowl, so perhaps not gaining anything against his competitors, but minimizing the losses with no help from the factor. That's the very least he has to ask himself to do through these technical turns. And now really it's all down to the work that his ski technician did last night and just before the start on his skis, to see how well the skis run across the flats here and carry him towards this final jump and into the finish.
10.88. It's 12.87 off the pace for Chen. New Xiaoli from the People's Republic of China, the 22-year-old in his first Paralympic Winter Games. And 1.57 off the pace at the first split. New, he gets no help from the factor time, is now 4.31 off the pace.
Good to see the course is holding up well here, at least through the high toy bowl. Let's keep our fingers crossed that temperature doesn't warm as quickly as it was looking like it would, and protect the piste for the slalom for later on. A little ragged with the line. Turns could be run a little more smoothly here to help maintain the momentum by New.
New, 1:19.71, 26th position for him. United States of America in the start hut, bib number 44, it's Tyler Carter. The 28-year-old in his third Paralympic Winter Games. Retiring after this season, but his best result in the Paralympic Winter Games was in slalom in Pyeongchang when he was 19. And 4.3 off the pace coming into the bar.
Hanging on there strongly as he can, Tyler Carter. Prosthetic limb ski here. Difficult, those left foot turns just to carry the momentum because the pace is so high. Strong turn here though, and round he goes out into the canyon.
Deficit. Just doubling through that canyon, through that high toe bowl section. And coming over the final terrain change, and Carter tucking for the line. Stop the clock in 1:22.71, slides into 28th position, 11.84 off the pace. People's Republic of China in the start hut. It's Yang Gong, the 23-year-old. Right angles.
Yeah, good pace under feet as well here. Great strong turn there from Yang. I've had my lefts and rights mixed up a little bit the last couple of runners through here. I'll concentrate on the right to left through these red and blue gates. I can't emphasize how strongly enough how difficult these turns are. The speed high,
and he just gets high-sided. That's a big fall for Yang Gong.
Looks to be okay, and as I was just saying there, the forces the athletes are having to deal with in these Super G turns through the high toy bowl really are immense. And you saw there clearly when things go wrong, those forces unwind and spit the athlete clean off the course. Almost held on to this one, but hooked up in the soft snow. Ski bucks underneath him and down he goes.
Well, Yang Gong will be back for the men's slalom. It's a real disappointment for him in this super combined because he would have been looking forward to the slalom leg and down again in the finish area. Well, France will be looking up the hill because next out the start hut is this man here, Liang Jingyi, bib number 46, and he's been showing some really good form here on this rock piste at the Yansing National Alpine Skiing Centre. He will know it intimately because this is where he trains, so some home snow advantage for Liang, and he has made it count over the opening 2 days of competition at these Beijing 2022 Paralympic Winter Games.
Slightly different challenge facing him here. He needs to stay focused, needs to stay calm, and then rebuild that focus and concentration as he gets the 30-second warning, knowing that his compatriot has crashed just before him. He looks to be in the zone, though. I think we can expect another flyer of a run from him here in a moment or two.
Liang Jingyi from the People's Republic of China, the 19-year-old, on track. He has been really impressive in the opening 2 days of competition on the Hai Tuo Mountain. And Liang will try and chase down Boucher's time, and he's inside by 1800ths. No real surprise that he's pushing Boucher close because he's been really good, but that was a slight error.
Yeah, that was a mistake, and no, it's a bad part of the course to make a mistake because the turns actually widen out. That little line error grew there. That will have done for his advantage, I reckon, and it looks like maybe it has affected his concentration because, again, the line is lost.
Well, he's lost the line, but he's still got the green light by 2200ths of a second. And Liang hanging on in there.
Yeah, that's it. Determination counts for an awful lot in this sport. He keeps forcing the skis straight down the hill. He's got to clean this turn up, otherwise, no, gravity won't help him from here in.
Well, he's lost his advantage from 0.22 up to 300ths the wrong side of the clock. Liang trying to overhaul Arthur Boucher in the finish area to go into the slalom leg in front, and he's very wide, and he's out. goes too wide off the finishing jump, and Liang's quest for super combined silverware or hardware is over. And that is a big surprise. He was the big favourite from the home team.
Perhaps the lack of big competition experience and that concentration evading him.
Oscar Burnham from France, the last to go in this men's super combined Super G standing race. The 22-year-old in his first Paralympic Winter Games took up Alpine skiing after Pyeongchang, and he's 2.42 off the pace coming into the Haichuo Bowl.
Whoa, that's dynamic skiing from Burnham. Didn't quite manage to make it stick on the right footer. He set himself up very well, but maybe just lent in a bit too much. Didn't get quite enough weight on the ski. It won't have slowed him down so much, but he definitely travelled a longer line than was the ideal.
Here comes Burnham now over the final jump, and 1:15.76 goes into 16th place. Good run from Oscar Burnham.
The men's standing category, what an epic race. Beautiful ski on top of the mountain course. I would characterize it a little bit frustrating for some of the people as the gate caused a lot of challenge.
So here are the standings at the midpoint of the men's super combined standing race, and Arthur Bauchet of France is leading the way from Theo Gamour, and Kiberi in third. And we have ourselves 30 of the 36 racers from the first leg through to the slalom part of this men's super combined standing race at Beijing 2022. The men's super combined sitting at the Beijing 2022 Paralympic Winter Games. And here is the start list: 25 competitors from 15 national Paralympic committees, and the defending Paralympic champion Jeroen Kampschreur from the Netherlands goes at bib number 51, and the current world champion René Del Silvestro of Italy goes one before in bib number 50. But also look out for Pedersen, number 48, who will be looking to add to his already burgeoning reputation in the sit skiing.
Bobby, once the Paralympics are over, the fans want to know, are you going to be seeing this course? Who's find you on that course?
Maybe not Josh.
Fantastic view out of the start hut. Just a minute or so to go until we get this men's super combined sitting race underway. And it's been closely fought throughout the opening 2 days of competition. A little bit of extra motivation for Jesper Pedersen on the front of his rig. Jesper Pedersen of Norway will get this men's super combined sitting race underway. 2 parts to the super combined: a Super G run this morning and then a slalom run in the afternoon, and the combined times will tell us who our Paralympic Winter Games champion for 2022 will be. Pedersen, 22 years of age, in his second Paralympic Winter Games, was Norway's only gold medalist in 2018, but at the World Championships in January of this year on home snow, he was in excellent form, winning the downhill, the slalom and the GS, and coming second in the Super G and the Super Combined.
He's absolutely flying as he comes towards the high toy bowl. The snowpack has sped up and he's read the conditions and the pace under his ski to perfection, I would say. He's kept a high line so far through high toy bowl. Drifts just a little on that blue gate. A tactical drift, I would say, because this looks to be millimeter perfect by Pedersen. Oh, just a little bit wide on the exit.
51.23 as he comes out of the bowl. We'll have to wait and see how that stacks up against the remaining 24 competitors still to run. But Pedersen is certainly giving it everything in this first part of the Super Combined. 1:10.29 for Jesper Pedersen of Norway. Excellent opening part of the Super Combined for him.
Certainly gave it his all, that's for sure.
Niels de Langen of the Netherlands in his second Paralympic Winter Games. His best result in 2018 was 8th in the Super Combined, and he's 0.6 off the pace at the first split, and that is now doubled to 1.2 as he comes into the bowl at 79 kilometers per hour.
De Langen right on the money. His confidence has grown across the previous couple of days, but oh, just a slight concentration error, lent in ever so slightly on that previous blue gate. Did well to recover the turn, but that will have damaged the momentum, the absolute speed across the surface of the snow.
That was a fantastic recovery.
Yeah, it really was. You know, he was a little bit fortunate. We've seen some people get caught out by the soft snow, but his ski managed to pick up quite gradually as he went into the soft snow. He needs to stay focused here, though, because the sit skiers are taking air off this final jump.
1:10.29, 2.75, and he's still in the running for the slalom leg. It could have been a lot worse. He could have been out. The reigning world champion in Super Combined, René de Silvestro of Italy, on track, the 25-year-old in his second Paralympic Winter Games. Best result, always out.
Just going to say he's going incredibly straight here towards the end of the Silk Road. The turns are long, you know, there's almost 100 meters between some of these gates, but the swing, the movement across the hill increases and increases as he comes towards that little drop. It's normally a jump in the downhill, the sugar jump, but that combination of the terrain break and the wider turns demanded by the set of the gates, catching out our Italian skier, he just got a little bit too ambitious, went too straight in the couple of gates above where we pick him up in the slow-mo and ends up missing that blue as a result.
So the world champion is out. A big surprise. Jeroen Kampschler of the Netherlands, the current Paralympic champion, on track. Second Paralympic Winter Games.
Ooh, right on the limits here. Got to hang on to the line. Jeroen really pushing things to the max and flying.
Well, 0.4 off the pace of the first time split. The world champion in Super G now finds himself 9/10 off the pace.
He's done well to limit the damage to under a second. I have to say he was way off the line, but kept the momentum. He's running wide and low here again. He's got to tidy this up before he hits the flats.
Well, he was
good.
Four-time world champion in downhill slalom, giant slalom, Super G. Well, 5 times, so he won the Super Combined as well in 2019. So he's in touch at 0.46 as Kampschler. Final jump, and 1:10.29. Kampschler is outside it, and he's outside it by 1.7 seconds. He loses a lot of time through the canyon section, but there were too many errors in that one from Kampschler. Floris Meyer of the Netherlands, bib number 52, 32 years of age, in his first Paralympic Winter Games.
Well, Meyer on the same line as his compatriot just before him. The Dutch boys really pushing things to the limit and sometimes a bit beyond. Meyer tidies it up here, though. This is good execution coming into the high toy bowl.
That's quite heavy on the entrance into the bowl. 1.49 as he comes in. And running very straight now.
Yeah, that's why he was trying to tidy the line up at the top. This section, when you're coming in as fast as we are today, the sit skiers in particular really need to be precise with the line. The tactical execution, exactly where they place the ski on the snow, is critically important because of the extra velocity they're bringing into that section today.
2.15 coming out of the bowl. Has this grown as he comes to the finish because he ran wide and had to shave off speed, and the time gap does grow to nearly 4 seconds for Maya. Suzuki Takeshi from Japan, bib number 53, the 33-year-old who was the slalom champion in Sochi in 2014 and the world champion in super combined in 2011. Oh, a lovely entry into the high throw ball.
Doesn't quite hang on to the early line, though. You're right, it was right on the money, but like a number of other skiers, finding himself pushed lower and lower as the high toy bowl turning section progresses, and now really just has to hang on and try just whatever he's got left just to keep the ski as flat as possible, stay as quiet as possible on top of that ski, and not let any more velocity and consequently any more time get away from him. That's a shame he didn't quite get those last few turns in the high toy bowl correct.
3.76, he'll do well to keep it under 5 seconds. And it's over 5 seconds, it's over 6 seconds, 6.11, so much pace lost coming out of the bowl. Igor Sikorsky of Poland, bib number 54, the 31-year-old in his third Paralympic Winter Games. His best, although he's out, so his best was third in giant slalom in 2018, but Sikorsky, I'm afraid, is a DNF in the men's super combined.
That's unfortunate. There was I had high hopes for him. You know, he's a very experienced competitor, so I thought this extra tactical demand that the course seems to be placing on the athletes today, I thought he would be able to, one of the guys who would be able to rise well to that challenge. But here he runs off the Silk Road just a little too straight, and once again that sugar jump drop off, catching another skier out.
Bib number 55 is Lubra Dagond of France, 26 years of age. And Bras Dagond, 0.78 off the pace at the first split in his first Paralympic Winter Games.
A slightly more measured approach by the French athlete, looking certain of his line. Different tactic, that'll be reflected in the clock, but he's not too far off, so the tactic paying off for him, I would suggest. Working hard to keep the line under control, manage it as best he can down through the high toy bowl. Now this all-important right-handed turn, gets the inside rigger, reaching forward to help transfer weight over the ski to keep it carving clean, and now rolls out onto the flats.
Yeah, the deficit almost doubling through the high toy bowl, up to 6.51. Dagond of France over the final jump, and he will stop the clock at 1:18.3, 8.01 off the pace. He'll be back for the slalom run. Pascal Kistin of Switzerland, bib number 56, the 29-year-old in his first Paralympic Winter Games. He joined the Swiss Army High Performance Programme last year, one of the first wheelchair athletes to be asked, and 1.33 is a really decent opening split, or second split, from Kristin.
Yeah, and doing a reasonably good job of it's that blend of taking risks and keeping the line under control. You can see a lot of tracks out there now running wide. It's too wide here on the long sweeping right-hander, That 2.9 second gap, I feel, will grow quite significantly by the time he gets to the end of the flats.
Yeah, we've seen a number of athletes running wide, losing anywhere between 3 and 4 seconds through here. So Kristen, it's all about damage limitation as he comes over the final jump. Last check on the direction, and 4.76. So he does well because he loses just under 2 seconds.
No, and if he wants to be in with a medal shout, staying there in the top 10 is a good place to be right now.
Enrique Plante of Argentina in his 3rd Paralympic Winter Games. He's out. I was going to say his best finish at a Paralympic Winter Games has been in slalom, but here, unfortunately, he won't get to that part of the contest because he just goes down on the inside.
And you can see quite clearly, see how much soft snow there is just off the ideal racing line. You know, in the last hour or so, I'm getting some information, the temperature's gone up almost 4 degrees in the last hour. So this top layer of snow is breaking up very rapidly. That's leaving a pile of sugary snow just outside the race line. And if you're not really within, oh, say 20, maximum 30 centimeters of the ideal line, you find yourself out in that sugary stuff, and it won't give the ski enough purchase to bring the rig and the athlete on board around the curve. So precision and risk-taking, again, it's the absolute blend that's required in Super G, and even more so when the conditions turn out the way they're turning out here on this. Well, it's turning into a real spring day, isn't it, here and here at the National Centre.
Han Sang-min of Korea, the next to challenge, the 42-year-old who made his Paralympic Winter Games debut back in 2002. He scored his only podium then when he was 2nd in the giant slalom, and he became the first athlete from Korea to win a medal in Alpine skiing at the Paralympic Winter Games with that silver. Also a wheelchair basketball player. He won gold at the Asian Para Games in 2014. So he's certainly been one to lead the way for para-athletes in his country. 0.96 off the pace at his first split time, and coming up to the second finds himself 3.09 off the pace, entering the bowl at 75.1 kilometers an hour.
Done a good job so far. Accuracy, as we've been saying, is at a premium here. He's out in the soft stuff. He gives himself a shout of encouragement, manages to get the rig back on course, but running wide again. Not much he can do once he's out there. There's not as much soft snow out there as there is on some of the other turns, so he just lets it, rides it out and tries to carry the momentum as best he can.
There's a real change from the top 2 turns in the high toe bowl, where it seems to be really firm, to then the lower half where it seems a lot softer. So here comes Han Sang-min, and he'll be back for the slalom run. 1:19.11, 8.82 off the pace, 8th position for him. Aaron Ewan, New Zealand, bib number 59, the 25-year-old in his first Paralympic Winter Games. He missed Pyeongchang after fracturing his hip in a fall in December of 2017. And the 0.53 gap that was at the first time split is now 2.18 into the bowl.
He's set up well coming into the bowl, and Lucas allowing him to run straight, but also pick pace out of these last few turns before the big swooping right-hander. Here it comes. Oh, just a little wider than ideal, but not bad nonetheless, and not much more damage done to the time.
Looks like another tailwind blowing through the canyon. If you look at the gates, they are facing the way that Ewan is travelling. And will that help him on the timing? 4.29 off the pace at the last split time. Now 5.98 off the pace. Sixth position though for Ewan. Murat Pellet of Switzerland, the next out of the start-up, bib number 60, the 39-year-old in his second Paralympic Winter Games. His best finish at a Paralympic Winter Games was in slalom, where he was 13th. That was in 2018. And Pellet 2.41 off the pace, and he is down, but not out. He didn't stop.
No, that should be a legal. It's not exactly a restart, but he's still okay. He slid along on his side, managed to pick himself up, but it's going to be a long ride across the flats here for Murat Pellet. Just needs to stay calm because this final drop-off, there's a lot of soft snow piling up out to the skier's left just after the drop here, so he needs to keep himself to the right. Yeah, exactly where he needs to be to give himself a straight, safe run to the finish line.
119.30, 10th position for Pellet. Yang Zilu of the People's Republic of China, the 17-year-old, wearing bib number 61. Took up the sport 6 years ago. And Yang 0.68 off the pace at the first split. We haven't got his second split time. But working towards the bottom part of the high toy ball.
Really had a good line through high toy ball, managed to get in early and keep the turns short and quite straight.
3.74 off the pace.
Good split as a consequence on the exit.
Did he sacrifice speed to get that line? We'll find out soon enough as he comes over the final terrain change, gets inside the blue gate and stops the clock at 1:15.86, 5.57 off the pace, loses nearly 2 seconds through the canyon. Pavel Bambasek of the Czech Republic, the 37-year-old, in his second Paralympic Winter Games, is on track, and he is out. He was half a second off the pace at the first split, but an error coming up towards the sugar jump. And he'll have to make his way down to mid-station to get out of the track.
62 will not finish course clear.
62 will not finish course clear. He will obviously wait for Li Xiang to make his way down. Li Xiang from the People's Republic of China with bib number 63, the 24-year-old in his first Paralympic Winter Games, on track. And a chance for us to see the whole of the run now. 1.75 off the pace at the first split time. But this is where it gets really difficult coming over this terrain change, the sugar jump.
Yeah, I think they're difficult to estimate the speed when you're traveling so quickly. And good job of compensating for that extra velocity. Lee getting the line back gradually over the course of 2 or 3 gates rather than trying to slam the ski sideways and make a big recovery. And as a consequence, not that much damage done to the time. A little bit late with the line through the middle part here of the high toy bow. And a little bit low on this little straight section, a little shimmy as I'm calling it, before the long sweeper. So as a consequence, the deficit grows to 5.5 seconds.
So Li Xiang from the People's Republic of China, looking to get himself on the start list for the slalom part of this super combined. The slalom race happening later on day 3, and he'll stop the clock at 1:17.75, 7.46 off the pace. Slides into 9th position for the time being. Bib 64, Fujiwara Tetsu from Japan, the 41-year-old in his first major championship, is on track, trying to chase down Jesper Pedersen's line. And 0.69 off the pace, now 4.72 as he enters the high throw ball.
Solid execution here. Oh, just gets a little too wide on the entry of that blue gate. And it's a combination of trying to give yourself enough space to make the turn, to set it up smoothly, and...
Big fall.
Big reverse into the
from Fujiwara.
nets there. I was just about to say, you know, giving the athletes giving themselves space. If you take too much space at the top of the turn, then the apex of the turn runs away from you. It becomes almost impossible to bring the ski back to where you really ideally want to be to complete and then, or to execute and then complete the turn. And that soft snow on the outside doesn't help either.
Yan Hailing from the People's Republic of China, next on track. 19 years of age, his first Paralympic Winter Games, and he took up the sport 4 years ago. 0.89 off the pace at the first strip, now 3.46, and he comes in nice and tight on that blue gate into the high throw ball.
Making some great angles with the rig, and the timing, the entry point of the turn, he's very, very accurate. Getting pushed straight here. Oh, he's not going to make it. Oh, that's such a shame. What he was doing there, he was trying to let the line run out, as we call it, trying to straighten things up to help him pick up more and more momentum or more and more velocity, because he knew the flat section was coming up. He was trying to do exactly what he needed, but just took 1 or 2% too much of a risk, and we have a short hold.
Yeah, Sawano Hiroshi, the start referee, just getting there in time to stop Ravi Durgan of the USA leaving the start hut, because that blue gate needs to be repaired. Brian Rowland, bib number 66, is a non-starter, so Durgan is next out of the start hut. And good work by the start referee, Sawano. Six more remain at the top of the hill in this men's super combined Super G part of the super combined race.
Here you go, Robbie.
Almost ready to get going again. That's Bisco Hudson of Chile. He's wearing bib 68. He's next out the start hut. Still we wait for the all clear. There's the beep that will bring the wand across the gate. Ravi Durgan of the United States of America, bib number 67. The next to lay down his challenge in the Super G part of the men's super combined sitting race.
Here you go, Robbie. Go, Rob. Get it on,
Ravi Durgan on course, the 32-year-old in his first Paralympic Winter Games. And Durgan, well, took part in 4 editions of the X Games, winning a bronze in 2015 as a monoskier, and 0.88 off the pace of Pedersen, our leader at the moment.
Durgan showing some very clean edges up at the top. Those top turns were good. Can he transfer this skill set into these faster turns over the terrain breaks? Right now, this looks very good indeed. We've mentioned he's not the most experienced athlete in the field, but at this point, looks to be giving him a pretty good account of himself.
Nice turns through the high throw ball.
Just
getting a little late
He's going to
now.
hang on here, yeah. Good adjustment, and yeah, nice recovery there. Real good skiing.
He needs to try and get out wide to his right-hand side. That's a lovely turn to exit the bowl, but 5.65 off the pace. Rodriguez looking to get himself on the start list for the slalom part of this super combined. Tucks for the line and stops the clock at 1:19.91, goes 13th, 9.62 off the pace. So Nicola Bisca-Hudson next to go. We're going to see the whole run for the last 5. Nicola Bisca-Hudson of Chile on track, the 23-year-old in his second Paralympic Winter Games. He was 9th in the slalom back in 2018, so more of a technical skier than a speed skier. So it's all about staying as close as possible to the quickest racers in this first part of the super combined, and he's 0.28 off the pace of the first split, which is not bad at all. Yeah, and part of that task of staying in touch is keeping yourself upright. As you're pointing out, the snow is really getting a lot faster, so these later skiers finding themselves going maybe a bit quicker than they might expect. Bisca-Hudson digs in deep here, keeps the line exactly where it needs to be. Good skiing. 0.28 grows to 2.80 and into the bowl at 77.5 kilometers per hour. Keeps that turn high above the turning gate, starts to let them run, maybe just letting it run a little early for my money, but he gets away with it. I'm carrying good pace here now. Makes this one stick pretty solidly, rides it round. That's still respectable at 4.69 off. He's going to keep him in contention. Yeah, skiing inside the top 10. And good work from the racer from Chile. 5 gates from home. Over the last jump. And he will stop the clock at 1:16.51, 9th position for Nicola Bisca-Hudson. Good work. Mori Taiki of Japan, the 41-year-old who made his Paralympic Winter Games debut in 2002 in Salt Lake City. And he's been in excellent form here in the opening couple of days of competition, and just 1700ths off the pace at the first split. Opens his account well, and we know he's fearless. We've seen that already from him in the first days of competition. Travelling really quickly, almost too quickly for our cameraman. This is excellent work from Mori. Yeah, and he's looking for more. Look how quickly he's switching from edge to edge. Oh, yes. Fine 1600ths and just under 80 kilometers per hour. This is a brilliant run. Excellent. Excellent job on the high toy ball. Just a little dropped on that last red gate, but he doesn't do anything sudden or unexpected and keeps the pace up and gains a little more. Half a second, the right side of the clock. Jesper Pedersen, who leads the way, has been leading since the very start. He was the first racer out of the hut, but now Mori Taiki, with bib number 69, is looking to push Pedersen of Norway really close here. 1:10.29 as Mori tucks for the line, and Mori's going to be outside it, but he's second by half a second. Another brilliant run from the athlete from Japan. Bib number 70, Chen Liang from the People's Republic of China, 24 years of age, his first Paralympic Winter Games. And let's see how Chen goes in these opening turns. 6.62 off the pace. Cutting a very tight line, brushing against those gates, trying to take as short a distance across the snow as possible. He just has to be a little careful with that approach, that he doesn't go too direct, because the course does swing a little more, and as the terrain drops away, it's hard to maintain this contact with the snow. So I'm kicked into the air a little bit, but he keeps it up. This is good work. 2.06 now for Chen. He's got some pace, 84.6 kilometers per hour on the speed gun.
And he's got a very good line down through the high toy bowl. Just lets it run out. Yeah, pretty faultless the execution through this section. Comes the final split.
And 3.27, that is a good part or good section of the challenge for Chen.
Especially considering when you're up against the best in the business. This is a very, very strong run from a relatively really inexperienced competitor. Final turn coming up. This is important as well. He's not home yet.
1:10.29, Pedersen's time. Chen, 5.25 off the pace. Just let it slip a little bit in the canyon. Kenoa Akira of Japan on track. The downhill and Super G champion from 2014, having won Super G gold in 2010. He's also a world champion in downhill in the 2011 edition of that championship. 0.28 off the pace at the first split.
Yeah, all that experience translates to some very, very smooth skiing, and sometimes can be deceptive. Keno's approach, he looks like he's taking it easy, but what he's doing is being very precise with the ski. Oh, just as I say that, the ski breaks sideways, he has to drift, but regains the line again, limits the damage. He hasn't lost too much of his pace through the high toy bowl.
1.68 grows to 2.94 despite the fishtail on the ski. And Kenoa Akira doing a good job. Made his debut in 2004 and still aims to be racing in 2026. So Kenoa not done yet by any stretch of the imagination. 1:14.7, sixth place for the athlete from Japan. Good run. Bib number 72 is Gong Xiaolin from the People's Republic of China, 32 years of age. His first major championship, but only 0.26 of a second off the pace at the first split. And here he comes. This is good opening turns from Gong.
Another skier showing that he really knows the hill, knows the terrain, skiing, you know, I say deceptively smoothly. He's traveling quickly. He went rather, he's gone wide again on that blue gate, so maybe giving the set of gates a bit more respect than he could, but into the high toy bowl, and he's relatively speaking still in touch.
2.60 off the pace, and then just gets them a little sideways on that blue gate, so some more time and speed lost. Let's have a look here as he flings out to his right-hand side and gets it over, and another error, and that's going to be really costly because there's no gravity to help him now. This is really very flat through here, and 4.79. You'd imagine would grow through this section here, and he's got his line a little bit wrong through there.
Yeah, I think the errors may be affecting his concentration. He's taking 2 or 3 extra turns here to set up for the final drop-off. 1:10.29.
He'll be back at 14th, 7.67, losing nearly 3 seconds through the canyon of that error coming out of the high toy bowl. But he's on the start list for the second run. So the results of the first part of the men's super combined, the Super G. Pedersen leads the way from Mori, and Kampschler is third. It's really nicely set up for the second run of slalom, which happens a little later on today on day 3, as 18 of the 25 at the top of the hill get to the bottom. Well, a really exciting opening part of the Super Combined, and all 6 classes will be back for the slalom leg a little later on as we look across to the training run from the speed track. And the So the first part of a long day done. Well, you can't win your medal in the first part of a super combined, but you can lose it. But fascinating.
Yeah, I did, and a lot of very skillful skiing out there. Dramatic stuff as well. We saw some great skiing in this men's sitting discipline, and all the way through the morning, in fact. And when we look at the men's sitting category, we've got less than 2 seconds separating the top three. So it is going to be a high-pressure shootout when we come to the slalom part of this competition later on in the afternoon.
So a long day for all the athletes here at the Yansing National Alpine Skiing Centre. The Super G part of the Super Combined is done. The slalom run coming up later on day 3. And at the end, we will know who our Paralympic champions will be for Beijing 2022.